All right, so let's dive into something kind of crazy,
Okay.
like straight out of one of those tech thrillers.
Yeah.
But it could actually be a real possibility.
Okay.
We're talking about Elon Musk maybe buying Google Chrome.
Oh, wow.
I know you're fascinated by the idea of Chrome like changing hands.
For sure.
And this isn't just some like wild what if.
Right.
The Department of Justice is actually pushing Google to sell it
Really?
as part of an antitrust ruling.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine
Yeah.
what Musk, the ultimate disruptor, right, could do with Chrome?
That's a scenario with massive implications.
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally.
The DOJ just scored a big win against Google,
Uh-huh.
concluding they have an illegal monopoly on search.
Sure.
So now they're proposing some pretty radical remedies.
Like selling off Chrome.
Yeah.
It's hard to even picture Google without Chrome at this point.
Right. It would be a seismic shift.
Yeah.
Chrome has a staggering 67% market share
Wow.
globally.
Globally, yeah.
It's the gateway to Google search for most people.
Right.
And a powerful tool for collecting user data,
Yeah.
which of course feeds their targeted advertising machine.
Yeah.
We're talking about a core part of Google's business model,
Right.
one that generated $49 billion in revenue just last quarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the DOJ is basically saying
Yeah.
Chrome is a linchpin
Yeah.
in Google's search dominance,
Mm-hmm.
and selling it off
Right.
could really shake things up.
For sure.
But could Elon Musk actually pull off a move like this?
Mm-hmm.
Could he even afford it?
That's where it gets really intriguing.
Yeah.
Musk has access to resources most people can only dream of.
Uh-huh.
Tesla,
Right.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Not to mention his network of private equity partners.
Yeah.
Funding wouldn't necessarily be the biggest hurdle.
Okay, but wouldn't Chrome be a lot less valuable on its own?
Mm-hmm.
Like stripped away from the rest of Google's
Right.
products and services?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Some experts argue Chrome, without Google's ecosystem,
Yeah.
might not be worth that much to anyone.
Right.
And there's another layer to consider.
Okay.
Would a different company owning Chrome simply create another monopoly, replacing one tech giant with another?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a real concern.
That is true.
Yeah.
But doesn't Google's search dominance kind of exist
Okay.
regardless of which browser you use?
Sure.
I mean, they're paying Apple something like $18 billion a year
Wow.
just to be the default search engine on iPhones.
You've hit on a crucial issue.
Yeah.
Some people are skeptical that selling Chrome would actually change anything fundamental.
Oh, okay.
They see it as a cosmetic fix,
Okay.
a restructuring disguised as antitrust action.
Interesting.
But let's play devil's advocate for a moment.
Okay.
And imagine Musk does acquire Chrome.
Yeah.
How might he integrate it into his vision for X,
Right.
formerly Twitter?
Now, that's what I'm really curious about.
Okay.
Let's unpack this. Rebranding Chrome as X browser.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where your browser isn't just for surfing the web,
Yeah.
but a central hub for all things X.
Oh, wow.
Think about a dedicated dashboard for social media, payments, XAI tools,
Okay.
even shopping,
Yeah.
all seamlessly integrated.
Okay.
And picture this.
Yeah.
A built-in AI assistant
Uh-huh.
powered by XAI,
Okay.
summarizing web pages for you in real time,
Wow.
curating content based on your interests.
That's a powerful combination.
Right.
But how would Musk actually challenge Google search with this X browser? Would people really ditch Google?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
He could integrate a completely new search engine,
Okay.
one that's decentralized,
Uh-huh.
maybe powered by blockchain technology,
Okay.
or driven by user ratings.
Interesting.
Think of it as a more transparent
Okay.
and potentially less biased alternative
Yeah.
to Google's algorithms.
A blockchain-based search engine. Okay, break that down for me a little.
Sure.
I'm not a tech wizard.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Instead of Google's secret formula
Right?
determining what you see,
Yeah.
a blockchain-based search
Mm-hmm.
uses a distributed network of computers to rank results.
Okay.
It's like crowdsourcing search,
Interesting.
potentially making it more democratic and resistant to manipulation.
Right.
An X browser could even empower users to choose their preferred search engine,
Oh.
giving them control instead of automatically defaulting to Google.
So less Big Brother, more individual choice.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
And we all know Musk is passionate about empowering creators.
sure.
How would this hypothetical X browser change the game for them?
That's where it gets really interesting for creators.
Yeah.
Imagine a browser that actually gives them control over their data.
Okay.
What if they could opt out of having their content scraped? and used to train Google's AI models.
Right.
A feature Google doesn't currently offer, X Browser could prioritize user privacy and data control, giving individuals real agency over their information.
So instead of Google profiting from all that data, creators would have more ownership.
Right.
And even potentially share in the revenue generated.
Exactly.
Okay.
We could see higher ad revenue splits for creators, or even built-in tools for them to monetize their work directly within the browser.
Oh, wow.
Cutting out the middleman.
Yeah.
It would be a major power shift away from big tech and towards the individuals creating the content.
Really interesting.
Yeah. We've been focusing on Musk, but let's not forget, this all hinges on Google actually being forced to sell Chrome.
Right.
And even then, Musk might not be the only one interested.
You're right.
Yeah.
What about other potential buyers? Are there any other companies with deep enough pockets and a big enough appetite for something like this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a given that Musk would be the only one at the table, or even the most likely candidate.
Right.
We have to factor in the regulatory landscape. Antitrust authorities are going to be very wary of simply transferring a monopoly from one tech giant to another.
Okay, so who else could realistically step in?
Right.
We're talking about a massive acquisition here.
We are.
Yeah.
And we need to remember that Chrome on its own might not be as valuable without Google's massive network of services.
Right.
And all that data they collect.
Yeah, for sure.
Still, there are a few names that immediately come to mind. Microsoft, for instance.
Microsoft, really?
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty much out of the browser game after Internet Explorer.
Well, they've actually made a comeback with their Edge browser, which is built on the same open source foundation as Chrome, called Chromium.
Right.
Snapping up Chrome could give them a huge boost in market share, putting them right back in the thick of things.
I see a chance to reclaim some lost glory. And I guess it's no surprise that Amazon would have the resources to make a play for it.
Sure.
Could they integrate Chrome into their e-commerce empire?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine a version of Chrome deeply intertwined with Amazon Prime.
Okay.
You'd have seamless shopping experiences, personalized product recommendations popping up as you browse the web.
Wow.
Talk about a dream for online shoppers.
And a potential nightmare for anyone trying to resist those tempting Amazon deals.
Right.
But what about Apple?
Okay.
They already have Safari, which is pretty popular.
Yeah.
Especially with iPhone and iPad users.
Sure.
Why would they even want Chrome?
True. But acquiring Chrome would give them an absolutely dominant position across all devices.
Wow.
Suddenly, Apple would control the most popular browser.
Yeah.
For desktops, laptops, phones, you name it.
Right.
They could create a completely unified browsing experience across their entire ecosystem.
Talk about locking people into their walled garden. Okay, so we have some serious contenders here.
Yeah.
But would any of them actually be able to break Google's search monopoly, which seems to be the heart of the issue?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some argue that Google's dominance is so deeply entrenched, regardless of who owns Chrome, that it would take a truly radical approach to disrupt it.
So maybe we need to think outside the box here.
Okay.
What about a consortium, a group of smaller companies pooling their resources to buy Chrome?
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
Now, that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
A collective of companies, maybe those focused on privacy or open source software, coming together to create a more decentralized browser experience.
Yeah.
It could be a way to address some of those antitrust concerns head on.
It sounds almost utopian, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
A browser owned and operated by a collective.
Right.
With user benefit at the forefront, not just profit.
It's a fascinating alternative to the current landscape, which is dominated by these massive corporations.
For sure.
It would require a significant shift in thinking, though.
Yeah.
Both in the business world and from a regulatory standpoint.
Let's circle back to Musk for a moment.
Okay.
We've talked about his vision for a decentralized internet.
Right.
But can you unpack that a little more?
Sure.
What does it actually mean?
It's a complex concept.
Yeah.
But the basic idea is moving away from these centralized platforms controlled by a handful of companies.
Right.
Think of it as a more distributed network where power is shared more evenly among users and creators.
Okay, so instead of relying on Google for search, Facebook for social media, Amazon for shopping, you have alternative platforms and protocols
Exactly.
that are less susceptible to censorship.
Yeah.
Or control by any single entity.
It's about giving individuals more control.
Right.
And promoting a more open and democratic flow of information online.
Yeah.
And Musk believes blockchain technology, with its decentralized and transparent nature, could be the key to making this happen.
So help me visualize this.
Okay.
What would a decentralized internet actually look like for everyday users?
Right.
What would change?
Imagine a world where you have much greater control over your data.
Okay.
Instead of it being held by these big tech companies,
Right.
you could choose to store it on your own devices
Okay.
or on a decentralized network.
That's appealing, especially with all the data privacy concerns these days.
Right.
Yeah.
And it could create new opportunities for creators to make money from their work. They could connect with audiences directly and cut out the middleman, keeping more of the profits they generate.
This is really making me think differently about the future of the internet.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic.
Okay.
Are we talking about a complete overhaul, scrapping everything and starting from scratch?
Probably not a complete overnight revolution, but a gradual evolution.
Yeah.
But even small steps toward decentralization could have a big impact.
So less Google, more decentralized search engines that rely on blockchain technology or user-generated rankings.
Exactly. And instead of social media giants like X or Facebook controlling the flow of information, maybe we see the rise of decentralized social networks where users have more control over their data and their online interactions.
It's exciting to imagine the possibilities.
Yeah.
But I also wonder about the potential downsides.
Of course.
Yeah.
Creating a truly decentralized internet is a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
There are technical challenges, security concerns to address.
Right.
And perhaps most importantly, getting people to think differently about how they use the internet.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
It does.
Do we continue down the same path of centralized platforms? Or do we try to forge a new path toward a more decentralized future?
And that's what makes this DOJ case against Google so fascinating.
Yeah.
The outcome and the potential fate of Chrome could be a pivotal moment in determining which direction we head.
It definitely feels like we're on the verge of something big.
It does.
But before we get too carried away, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
And consider some of the potential challenges and downsides of a decentralized internet. We've been exploring this potential upside of a decentralized internet.
Right.
But like you said, it's not all sunshine and roses.
For sure.
So let's dig into some of those potential challenges.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest hurdles standing in the way?
Well, complexity is a big one.
Okay.
You know, think about how user-friendly platforms like Google, Facebook, and Amazon are.
Right.
They're designed to be intuitive, easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Decentralized platforms by their nature can be more technically challenging.
Right.
For the average person.
So instead of like a simple Google search, I might have to grapple with blockchain networks and complicated protocols.
Right.
Just to find information. Yeah. That doesn't sound very user-friendly.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
And then there's the security question.
Right.
Centralized platforms have dedicated teams and tons of resources to combat hacking and protect user data. A more distributed network could create more vulnerabilities. More points of attack.
That's a bit unnerving, to be honest.
Sure.
And what about the issue of moderation?
Yeah.
Platforms like X, Facebook, and YouTube, for all their flaws, do at least attempt to address things like hate speech and misinformation.
Right.
Would a decentralized internet become a free-for-all of unfiltered content?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Decentralized platforms are designed to be resistant to censorship.
Right.
Which can be a good thing when it comes to promoting free speech.
Yeah.
But it also makes it harder to control harmful content.
For sure.
Finding the right balance is a tough challenge.
It sounds like there are some serious issues to work out.
Yeah.
If a decentralized internet is going to be viable.
Absolutely. So, and we need to remember that decentralization isn't an all-or-nothing proposition.
Okay.
There are different degrees and approaches.
So it's not necessarily about dismantling the current internet infrastructure.
Right.
But maybe finding ways to incorporate elements of decentralization.
Exactly. Think of it as a spectrum. We could have platforms that embrace some aspects of decentralization. Like giving users more control over their data.
Right.
Or making their algorithms more transparent.
Yeah.
Without completely abandoning the benefits of centralized systems.
That makes sense. A hybrid approach.
Yeah.
Taking the best of both worlds.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot. between fostering innovation and maintaining stability,
Sure.
between empowering users and having some responsible oversight.
You hit the nail on the head.
And this brings us back to the DOJ's case against Google. Even if they don't force a sale of Chrome,
Right.
this ruling could have a ripple effect.
For sure.
It sets a precedent for more regulatory scrutiny of big tech's power.
Exactly.
So regardless of who owns Chrome,
Right.
this case could be a turning point, a catalyst for broader changes across the tech landscape.
Precisely.
Okay.
It could force these companies to rethink their approach to data privacy,
Yeah.
to give users more control, to be more transparent in how they operate.
Right.
And it could create more opportunities for smaller competitors and innovative startups to enter the market.
It's amazing to think that this one case could have such far-reaching consequences.
It really is.
And even if Musk doesn't end up buying Chrome,
Yeah.
his vision for a decentralized internet has already sparked some important conversations.
Absolutely.
It's challenging the status quo and getting people to think differently about the internet.
For sure.
It's raising these fundamental questions about who should hold the reins of power online,
Right.
about the balance between individual freedom and societal well-being, about the role of technology in shaping our future.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question to ponder.
Right.
If we are moving towards a more decentralized internet,
Yeah.
what role do you want to play in shaping that future?
What values are important to you?
Yeah.
What principles do you want to see reflected in the digital world?
Right.
Even small actions can make a difference.
And remember, even in a decentralized world, it's our collective choices and actions that will ultimately determine the fate of the internet.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Keep exploring the possibilities and keep asking those tough questions.